Do you think the voting age should be lower?
No, I don't.
No.
No.
Yes, I do.
No.
Yes.
Yes, actually.
No, because I don't think high schoolers, all of them haven't formed their opinions yet, and they just go with what other people say.
You can't even drink when you're 18, but you're like allowed to vote. Like, I don't know, feels weird.
I think a lot of people, myself included, don't really know who they are or how they feel about things or even what they want to be until they're 25 or so.
And I think it's good to get more knowledge before you make like an informed decision. So I think the opportunity for more knowledge comes as you get older, and so I think 18 is a good age.
I think if people voted right now, like knowing my classmates, they'd probably make it a joke or something. But I think when you're 18, you have like responsibilities and you'd be paying for college, so you're just more prepared and more understanding. You've taken AP Gov.
Once people do like turn 18, they become a bit more level-headed. Yeah. It's not like it just happens overnight, but they become a bit more responsible.
And I don't think that any age younger than that would be more responsible enough to like vote.
If you're younger than 18, you like don't have a full perspective. Like an adult has had more of a perspective of the world, has seen more stuff, blah blah blah, so they have more like experience and stuff.
Once you're 18, at least you have the ability to make your own choices or learn from wherever you want, because you're legally an adult.
People with like 16 or 17 usually don't have a proper way of identification, and that really opens the door to more voter fraud and potentially harms democracy.
You're not really mature enough to make a lot of sound voting decisions when you're so young anyway, because it's like most people don't have an interest in that.
Anything lower than 18, you probably don't really know what's going on with like presidential politics. If you do, well then that's good, but anything lower than 18, I don't think that should be, no.
I look at the peers around us or like classmates and I'm like, yeah, you guys shouldn't be making decisions like that.
Definitely not. I think kids are not the smartest, and until they're adults, they do not got the brain capacity to make decisions for the country.
My main concern is that people are informed about what it is they're voting for and who it is that they're voting for. And I don't think an arbitrary age, honestly, is, going to determine that. There are a lot of people over 18 who are very uninformed, and there's a lot of people under 18 who are very informed.
I think the voting age should be lowered because some people go into college early, and we go into high school a lot earlier, and the things that we do in our education get like changed by the president, and I think the voting age should be lowered because of it.
The whole reason that America split from Britain was because of the whole taxation without representation debacle, which now is kind of a thing for people under 18, because a lot of people under 18 have jobs. They have to pay taxes on those jobs. If we're going to pay taxes, we should get to vote on issues and where those taxes are going.
I personally don't really have an opinion on that, but there is a valid argument for the voting age being lowered. If there's like 16-year-olds out there who are being affected by taxing, they should have the right to be able to vote. But then also, your brain doesn't develop until you're 21, and a lot of kids are stupid, so.
I feel like, I think it's great that it's at 18 right now. You're an adult, you can do that, but when you get the responsibility of like driving and everything else at 16, I think that can also come with voting opinions too, right?
I think that kids these days, especially in Gen Z, are more educated about politics, even more so than people from older generations. I think they should have a say in what's going on, especially as these laws affect us, because we are the future.
You are already really greatly impacted by who's in power, so if you're 16, I think you also should get a say in that.
I think the voting age should be lowered because people who are teenagers are mature enough to make decisions by themselves and think about like who should be the leader of the U.S.
What age do you think it should be lowered to?
I think it should be lowered to 16.
17, because I feel like that's more mature age for some people.
16, that's when you get your driver's license, and it's like when you start thinking about colleges and stuff like that.
Most people with jobs are generally around 16. Lower than 16, some people are still in middle school, and middle schoolers, they're great, but they don't know what they're doing. So I think 16 is probably the best age.
I think that the voting age should be 16 and up for all individuals who are in good academic standing and have learned what it takes to be a responsible citizen.